Not just the first half performance, but particularly this second half. Now they've got a few questions to answer, haven't they, in relation to their decision making, I feel.
So lots of questions to be answered in this second half. Toronto out nice and early, getting themselves ready. The Keighley lads are still in there with their coach Craig Lingard. Bit of a Backley legend, Craig Lingard, 10 years at that club, over 200 appearances. I think he's their all-time top try scorer, isn't he, Craig Lingard? And again, I think he's got a section of terracing named after him at Mount Pleasant because of his try-scoring abilities. But he's starting his head coaching career here. He was assistant coach at Batley, starts his head coaching career here at Keighley. And he'll be very pleased with the effort and the situation that his side find themselves at the start of this second half. 9-8 Keighley lead. A lot of Keighley fans here today, a lot of neutrals here today to come and have a look. A scattering of Torontonians, Toronto fans. Somebody down below us in a Fleming shirt, a Toronto Fleming shirt. So no doubts where he's supporting. Maple leaf in evidence, little bits around the ground. So the referee, Mr. Sweet, just checking that his watch is working. Keighley, restart. I wonder if it's going to be another short restart here, as has been there once when they've conceded tries. Nope, it's a deeper one this time. Oh, and it's still a good one though. There's the bounce, it's allowed to bounce. They've dropped it, it's picked up, and they have scored the quickest second half try you will ever see. Absolute calamity by the Wolfpack, but Keighley from the kickoff have scored. Incredible.
What a start for the Cougars. What a kickoff. Not handled anywhere. 3 Wolfpack players umming and ahhing over it. Let the ball bounce. Boom.
Brad Nicholson to put a name to the local hero at the moment.
High and proud.
Well, they've gone short.
Wallace gets it, has it knocked out by Kay, who's coming in from the sideline. Crossley can't keep it up, and Nicholson says thank you very much. Knock it out of each other's hands. There's a bigger hill. If there was a hill to climb, it's got a whole lot bigger now for the Wolfpack. Great start for Keighley this second half.
Remember, never have Toronto been beaten in a competitive game. It's a short never, because it's only 4 games old, their competitive lives, but still, somebody fancies the title of being the first to beat Toronto, and Keighley could be it today. A lot of time for the Wolfpack to react here, and there will undoubtedly be a reaction. Well, that score by Brad Nicholson right at the start of the second half really has put the Cats amongst the Pigeons.
Cats amongst the dogs.
Here's Beharo.
Like a volley,
as long as it goes between the sticks and over the bar, that's all that counts. It doesn't have to be pretty. It was effective. And it's 15 points to 8. So Toronto now are 2 scores behind.
They are, indeed. I mentioned it at half-time. I thought it was the biggest challenge for the Wolfpack this second half, and that just made it a whole lot more difficult.
So Craig Hall to restart. Kicking up the hill. Well, they've been inventive with their restarts. That was a normal one, if you like, and yet all 3 restarts they've had have caused Toronto problems. Keighley have had the ball back of all 3 restarts.
Yeah, and the ball did move. Not only have they got the ball back, they've posted 6 points on the back of it.
Yep. So Toronto putting their shoulders into the job here, and they'll have to do in this second half. Bouncing effort. Penalty, offside.
That's poor discipline from the Wolfpack. They've given every reason for this Keighley team to be enthusiastic.
Brendan Rawlings, the man who caused the problems there, and Beharo puts it out of play. So a tap restart here for Feather. Bang on the halfway line. Here's Baharrel inside, and Matthew Bailey is well met by the advancing Toronto defenders. Feather going left. Little stuttering, jabbing run by Baharrel. Here's Rawlings again, who runs hard again. He has issued a real threat. Most times he's had the ball. Feather goes out left, tries to search back right, gets an offload away. That's good. Rawlings is involved again. Toronto being pushed back. Quick zoom into dummy half by Baharrel. Cougars goes to chance as Bailey threatens the break. That's 5. Here comes the 6th tackle in the set, so they might try the kick. Well, they need the ball to try to kick. Loose handling, somehow kept alive by Milner. Hawkyard kicks towards that touchline, and QLT knocks it on. Quentin Lawrence-Agagai knocks on, and that will give Keighley possession again here. All things being equal, with a scrum 10 metres out.
And that's enthusiasm again. The kick's there for all to see. They don't lock up the last play. Find a kick, there's Hawkyard. Ball bounces really difficultly, adjudicated that QLT has knocked on there. Big set now for the Wolfpack. Cougars with their tails flying.
What kind of hearts, what kind of spirits have Toronto got now? Because it's going to be tested. Keighley with their tails up and flying, looking for another try here. Very, very close. Very, very close. That time it was Nicholson who was held up just short. Here comes the run of Rawlings. 5 away, Feather at dummy half. They're pawing the ground to the left. Baharrel again goes short with the pass this time, when previously he might have kicked. So Toronto don't know what's coming next. Keighley 10 out. Baharrel again. Flat across the line towards Nicholson. It was more than flat, it was forward. And so Keighley spurned the opportunity, and Toronto breathe a big sigh of relief.
Well, they do. They were thrilling ball movement, attacking different areas, throwing the ball around. Adjudicated forward pass there, which probably was right, but they love playing down the hill, don't they, Keighley?
Uphill, both figuratively and realistically, for Toronto in this second half. 2 scores back. Here's the feed. And in their competitive lives, trying to put my mind to this, in their competitive lives, this Toronto side has never been more than 1 score behind, and in fact rarely behind in the 4 previous games. So it really is a test of character. Emmett drives it in. Jacob Emmett. Obviously forward by Sidlow. Bezic stalking up there. Eventually they're allowed to play it, and Bezic goes running at those 2 defenders.
Offside was a smart play from Bezic.
He knew exactly what he was doing there, didn't he?
He did. Picked out Feather.
Touchline found. Tap, restart. Jacob Emmett again.
He's been good for the Wolfpack this year, hasn't he, Jacob Emmett?
He's worked and worked and worked, hasn't he? Wallace, Sidlow. Sidlow held up 10 metres away. Bezic gets in there. Emmett's just to his right-hand side. He goes wider still. The ball is shown by Whiting, who's held up on that Keighley line. Still a couple of plays to go here. Bezic again, short. Laithwaite again. Held at bay by those Keighley defenders. Jacks. Wallace. Stepping. Wallace. Wonderful play. Blake Wallace with some real individual class. He took them on. It was a gamble, but he had full faith in his abilities to slip his way through, and Toronto back within 3 points.
Well, Coach Rowley has been encouraging Blake Wallace to take the line a little bit more there. Jacks gives him the ball on the outside. Left foot, right foot. Shows his prowess in relation to finishing the play. Hawkyard quite can't stop him, but that's a play down to Blake Wallace with a little bit of space, manages to cause the disruption to get himself over the line.
The Australian player that was snapped up from Illawarra Cutters, wasn't it, that you signed him from?
Yeah, it was Illawarra Cutters, which is, for those viewers that don't know, is a St George Illawarra reserve grade team.
Showing some real class there, Blake Wallace. And here comes Craig Hall with the conversion, and when he's put that over, we're going to be hearing from Aaron, who's got some news for us. But first, let's watch this conversion. Craig Hall does put it over, so 15-14. We're back to a 1-point game. Keighley leading by that single point. So, Aaron, what news on the touchline over there?
Well, interesting to note the bench down here to our left. The Wolfpack, no panic coming out for the second half. You wouldn't know that they were up in the game or down in the game. Just business as usual, really focused. Lots of communication between assistant coach Simon Finnegan and head coach Paul Rowling. It just seemed business as usual, no panic. A team that knows what its game plan is and will just come right back, and we saw that with that score there.
Well, the Keighley fans are greatly encouraged by every kick-off. I think they wish every play was a kick-off because it's been their best play, hasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, that time it was diffused. Wallace managing to catch it on the full, and Toronto will be relieved to have the ball back here, Brian Noble.
Absolutely.
Bezic seems to go himself here. 1 point the difference. 32 minutes left to play. Jake Emmett driving it in. Bezic again. Sidlow's on his left-hand side, who ploughs it forward. And wants to offload. Went backwards. So that's the fifth tackle. Here's the sixth. Chip by Jacks, but straight into the hands of the winger, Gabriel.
He looks electric, doesn't he, Gabriel? He looks like he's got some wheels and a bit of footwork about him, so you're going to have to team up on the kick chase and make sure that you handle what's in front of you.
Third year here now for Andy Gabriel. His first year he scored 21 tries in 20 appearances, but lost a bit of form. Vinnie Finnegan came, so he only had, I think it was 17 appearances last year. But given his chance here today at the start of this season, Andy Gabriel. You can hear the oomphs, the contact, the muscular effort going in from both sides. Bone upon bone. 5 gone.
That's a good exit set from the Keighley side. Now they want Milner to find them a kick.
He's got it away. It's not a bad kick. It's not a bad kick. It's a fantastic kick, because it means that Liam Kay's got a lot of work to do and just back in the field of play. But that's exactly where Keighley want their opponents to start from, isn't it?
That's the advantage of...
Oh, and here's a block there from Pownall. Pownall slugging off one defender, takes a lock yard, and away he goes. It's the flying Johnny Pownall who will go 100 yards to give Toronto the lead again. Wonderful, eye-catching, firecracker stuff from Johnny Pownall. And Toronto are back in the lead.
Well, I have to take my hats off to the back three from the Toronto Wolfpack right throughout the season. They've been under the cosh today, and what you do know with Johnny Pownall and Liam Kay, Milner finds a perfect kick. It's wobbling around on this surface, the pie-crust surface. Kay cleans the play up, manages to get back into field of play. QLT, Johnny Pownall comes round the backside. He's nothing on, he's got nothing on. Sidestep, gone, legs pumping, and then it's all about beating the fullback, and he beats Hawkyard with his pace, and then it's just about toes and wheels, whatever you want to call it, and he goes that far enough for him to dive over the line into the corner. And not into the corner, near the sticks.
Well, that's silenced the locals, hasn't it? And here's Hall with a kick. High and good, and he's got his kicking boots on, having missed a couple in the first half. He's now kicked a couple in the second half. 15 for Keighley, 20 now for Toronto.
Well, you wouldn't think it, would you, on the back of a break, and sometimes when you got players that got those kind of speed, they'll just need half an opportunity wherever out on the field, and they got that.
Harold puts it high, and again it needs dealing with, but Dixon has dealt with it.
Well, they'll be happy at the moment, Toronto. They've cleaned up the last 2 of those 5 kicks that were clearly in the favour of the Keighley team.
Wheeler. He's a player whose class is going to show more and more as the season gets on. Gary Wheeler. Coming down this left-hand side, QLT suddenly joining in the numbers on this left-hand side. Swinging arm there from Rawlings.
I don't know why the touchy didn't come in for that one.
Bezic, And here is Quentin Lola Tagagai, who took up that position on the last play. 5 gone. Here comes the last. Wallace. Across the field it goes. Hall's after it, but taken safely enough by Gabriel.
2 on 1! 2 on 1! 2 on 1!
He's lost it. Lost it. Well, you can hear the Keighley defender screaming out there, 2 on 1.
I mean,
so he thinks it should have been a penalty for Keighley, but referee says just drops it clean.
yeah, I think Gabriel's not complaining too much either, is he? I think it's his colleagues that are complaining. And there's Hall trying to get the ball, and clearly adjudicated, didn't have control of it. Clearly there was a second player came in, but when he'd recollected the ball.
Let's lift it again, pal!
Here's Hall. Wallace just to his left. Hall takes it in and is put down there, 10 metres out, close to the sticks. Wallace again. Oh, Wheeler, I think, was trying to let it fly past, and Finnegan will get there,
forward,
but Finnegan, yeah.
Who knocked it on?
Yeah, I think Finnegan knocked on, didn't he? Oh, no, it was a Toronto knock-on. So respite for Keighley here.
Tough call, that. See if this gives a bit of a clearer picture. So it's at the line, and well, the officials are closer than we are, so you have to say that they're right or they're not right.
Gabriel. Like you say, you do get the sense that if he gets any kind of room in which to work, if he makes a break.
He's got light feet, hasn't he? And he's skipping around, and he's a dangerous player. You've got to make a count for him.
Hawkyard.
Straighten up, straighten up. Oh, right.
The ball's gone to ground, and there's a bit
try,
of, well, it's going, and it's touchdown eventually. There was a lot of impediments there from Hall as he chased after it, and the referee gives a try. So that's a really damaging mistake from Keighley.
Well, I have to say that Keighley are making terrific decisions up to this point, you know, in relation to carrying the ball and getting to the right parts of it. It's Hawkyard here that goes in the tackle, looks for the offload, but throws it to nobody. And Craig Hall's Johnny on the spot, if that's it, or Craig Hall on the spot, and throws the ball forward and palms the ball down. And that's such a pin in Keighley's bubble, that, because they've been excellent up to this point in relation to their decision making.
Hall was not going to be stopped there, was he?
No.
54 minutes played.
All 4!
Can you see the bit of subduedness, and is there such a word as subduedness?
There is now.
There is now in the crowd. You know, they've gone a little bit flat and a little bit. Now they're nervous, and the euphoria of the first half. And bear in mind, Keighley fans are used to see them romping down this hill in the second half. And Craig Lingard has had to felt the necessity to come down, and I think he'll be getting that message to Matty Baharrell, because he's been in charge. He's been the one that's been guiding him around the field, has been the voice on the field, the pivot, the general, and there's a few things gone against them there. Well, little things have gone against them. You know, a break for Pownell for the length of the try, and then the offload from Hawkyard to give him if he kicks this 12-point difference.
There it goes. Hall puts it over. 15-26. It's interesting that Craig Lingard, the coach, came down from the top of the stand. We followed him there, walking all the way across the front of the stand, and then he seems to have gone into the dressing rooms. I wonder what that's all about.
I think, has he made 4 changes here at once? Be interesting to see if Aaron can clear that up on the sideline. It looks to me like they've made a mass change here.
There's the high kick again, and again it almost comes off for Keighley. This time, though, Richard Whiting, right place, right time for Toronto.
That's on the back of Richard Whiting being smart, and follows it up with a 20-metre barnstorming run, and that should be a penalty.
And it is. Well, take nothing away from Keighley's attempt at creativity.
It's a fabulous kick-off. They regain it through Finnegan, taps it back, and there's 3 shirts in the frame, but the one black shirt that's in the frame picks it up and barnstorms his way down the hill.
Jacob Emmett. Caught in possession is Jacks. Bezic. Here's Emmett. Forward pass. Forward pass.
I think the referee's given that one.
He's allowed to.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not, but I think the touch is trying to tip him up on. It's close enough. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's hard to argue, isn't it? He's got it right.
Absolutely. Hawkyard won't be trying any offloads this time. Terrific player down the years, Richie Hawkyard.
Yeah, he's been good, hasn't he?
Yep, still is.
His fancy feet. What's that film? The Disney film? Happy Feet. He's got happy feet, this guy, hasn't he?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? I don't know. Well, that just bobbled a little, but able to keep a hold of it. Keighley desperate to get to the end of this set at the very least and put in an attacking kick if they can. Oh, that's a good offload in the circumstances. De Harrell going left. Urgency now and energy from this Keighley side. 5 tackles gone. They'll need a big kick. De Harrell, in fact, it's gone all the way to Mike Emmett, who puts that kick up. QLT underneath it, catches it safely enough.
Yeah, and that was on the back of the Wolfpack doing their homework at half-time. They got a snapshot of Beharrell kicking on his own and no pressure on him at all. And quite clearly...
Well, Liam Kay almost gave that penalty himself then. And there's a little bit of slapping of faces going on.
There's a bit of an obstruction on Liam Kay. He clearly knew the rules really, really well and was saying, "Sir, isn't that a penalty?" And the referee agreed with him. "Yeah, I think you're right, Liam." That's why he gave himself up.
So a chat going on again. Water bottles are coming on for the Toronto players. There was a little coming together. So coming up to the hour mark, and this is a really key passage of play coming up, isn't it? Because Toronto with that 11-point lead, 2-score lead at the moment. Keighley desperate not to let this game run away from them, and they don't deserve it to run away from them the way they've played so far. But if Toronto score again here, you rather fancy that they are clear in the finishing straight for home. Bezic down this left-hand side, and Wheeler and Kay. He's put a foot in touch. He's put a foot in touch on his way to the corner. Sharp-eyed Touchy.
Yeah. Touchy says he's got it. Let's have a look.
Yep.
Your eyes are better than mine, Dave. This will probably be a better picture.
Have a look at his right foot here. There you go.
Yeah,
left foot. Left foot. There's no argument there. It's a great finish. It's a fantastic finish by Liam Kay.
It was.
But it's not going to make the highlights reel because it doesn't count. Feed by Milner. Finnegan. Adam Brooke on the field from the interchange bench.
Ooh, good shot. Strong kid, isn't he? Ryder.
The centre. Hawkyard has all the time in the world to think about what he's going to do here from dummy half. Emmett. Here's Lynham. Josh Lynham, try scorer in that first half. Hawkyard again. But they've advanced just beyond their own 40. So pat on the back for the Toronto defence. And then the little chip over the top.
It's not a penalty. He's played for that.
De Harrell, yeah.
He doesn't have to get out of the way, Whiting, and that's the misconception in the game. If we look at this again, Whiting doesn't have to move. The guy has to go around him, and sometimes you can play for something. I think Matthew Beharrell did there.
Quentin Lola to Gagai. Wheeler. He's trying to bring the ball under control, so he couldn't get the pass away, and Finnegan up there to make the tackle, and now it's picked up by Liam Kay. Feel a little disappointed that he was missed out on a spectacular score because of that 1 foot on the line. Wallace. Emmett. Bezic. Jacks to Hall. Hall with a step and the slide, and a lovely ball away for the score from Pownall. Well, that's his hat-trick today, Johnny Pownall, and they've come in all shapes and sizes.
Well, take a bow, Craig Hall. It's all made because of his in and out. So what I mean by here is Jacks gets the ball to Hall. He goes in. Is he coming in? He goes out and finds the pass. He attracts the winger, and Johnny Pownall just has to be there. So put that down to Craig Hall. His name's not ticked off on the 4 points. Johnny Pownall is, but it's certainly made by Craig Hall.
Three defenders getting attracted here, weren't they? Pownall finishes. So it's like a small child has just found out where one of our effects mics is.
Well, I asked a question at half-time about this Wolfpack resolve, and at the moment we're clearly seeing that. You know, Keighley have probably not played their way they did in the first half. They made a couple of errors that they wouldn't. They haven't quite got the kicks back that were going in their way in the first half. So tick a box in relation to response so far, but with 20 minutes to go, Keighley are still capable of coming back here.
Hall's kick is missed. So what's that now? 15 points to 30. So 3 tries and 3 goals required for Keighley to come back into the contest and take the lead, and they cannot afford to concede again. 6 tries for the Wolfpack today. There's another restart, which is asking lots of questions. Offside. Offside by Bezic, because his man put it forward. Andrew Dixon.
Good decision. He was offside. Toronto Wolfpack played, just for our views in Canada, he was in front of the play, so the Toronto plate knocked it. As soon as anybody in front of him touches that then in a black jumper, it means it's a penalty kick.
Ball's been kicked into touch. Nobody's giving it back. With ball back, says the little lad. Thank you. Here it comes. Finnegan throwing it inside, and a tap. Restart by Brook. And the big fella, Scott Law, held up 20 metres away from that Toronto line. Baharol, read by Hall.
Good
got
hands from Hawkyard. What's he said here?
Penalty, shoulder charge. So the tap is taken quickly here. Driven in by Fran Welsh, 10 metres away from that Toronto line. They want to get up, they want to get on, and here out of dummy half goes Adam Brook. Brook held up, just short, not far. Baharol stands and waits. Huge pass to Emmett. Emmett is trying to force his way through again. Didn't have control of that ball. Toronto have it back. And as we've seen previously, there's a danger at the moment they got it even that deep. But
well, there's not quite the control that Keighley showed in the first half there. I think he copped a knee in the face here, QLT. So here's Emmett taking the ball on. He's surrounded by 3 defenders, maybe trying to get himself his hands free for an offload, and drops the ball. So that means it's 0 tackle. But QLT gets a bit of a facial massage on the back of that mistake, which let's see how he is.
it's the arm, a little high, but no penalty given. Just to reiterate, it's just a bit of treatment required for QLT, a Samoan international who's thrilled us for quite a few years now in this country, in England. Spell at the Sheffield Eagles.
Let's have a look. 2 arms. Ooh, that a forearm in his mush.
Strong effort.
It was a strong effort.
Josh Lynham. QLT's going to be okay. Give the ball to Dixon to play it. The sympathetic Yorkshire crowd insist, get off the field, and we can get on with it.
So is this play 0 or play 1? 0 tackle or play 1? I just trod on your foot,
You
sorry.
did, yeah. There's a silent scream. I think this is play 1, isn't it? Anyway, eventually, slowly, QLT is being led off the field. Could he not have got off behind the goal and then we could have got on with it? Come on, QLT, we've got a rugby league match to play.
Do you know what? You'd be really nice with him in an interview after as well, won't you? Oh, I thought you were really in trouble there. And he'd take all the time you want with a view to care.
Anyway, on we go, thank goodness.
I think Sidlow and Emmett have made a difference to the Wolfpack team in this second half with their direct play.
Here's Emmett again. That is direct, isn't it? Direct and strong, and taking them an extra yard or two and putting Keighley on the back foot and making them work harder to get back the 10 metres to line up. And when they do get back, they're let down by the fact the defenders weren't square at the marker. So a penalty here for Toronto, winding themselves up again as Besic puts it out of play.
It's amazing when you're in the ruck, the picks to the middle parts of the field, how much easier the game becomes.
Jacks to Wallace. Wallace with a dummy. We've seen his silky skills already in this second half with a try he scored. Besic, Sidlow's just to his left, and now comes Sidlow. Nothing silky about that effort. Just a big, I want to get there and try and stop me if you can. Good work by Emmett. Besic. Here's Jacks. The big Harbour Bridge ball over the top, but it bounces out of play. Bounces out of play before Ryan Burrows, who's on the field, Captain America, can get there.
Yeah. You'd have to be Captain America to catch that one. That's a huge Harbour Bridge, isn't it, from Rhys Jacks? They create the numbers. He should have just taken the next spot and the next space, but if he nails the pass, everybody thinks he's a hero. He doesn't nail the pass and everybody asks the questions. That's the nature of this game.
So Keighley with a chance to bring it out here, and they're desperate to get the next score on the board if they can. 15 for the Cougars, 30 for the Wolfpack. And the locals are a little quiet at the moment. They've been noisy throughout the day, but it's a little bit of a lull in the atmosphere at the moment because they know their side are up against it, against this classy side in black. The boys in black. Oh, that's allowed.
That's a great tackle. It's a knock on.
Yep, knock on from Ryder.
They just can't quite get their control and their decision making right in the second half. They're trying to play football. Maybe the Wolfpack have stepped up in defence to create that extra pressure, and we're seeing the resultant is a poor intercepts in the main. Other than their kickoffs, the intercepts have not been great for the Cougars in the second half.
Coach Craig Lingard back in the stands, watching on. So here comes the head and feed for Toronto. We're going to find out what's doing with QLT in just a second. But before we go down to Aaron, let's just watch this set. Penalty here for Toronto. Referee just explaining his decision. Toronto will tap and run here. Besic. Here he goes. This is Emmett. Surging forward again. 5 yards away from the Keighley line. Toronto going for the jugular here. The Wolfpack. Sidlow and going for the jugular of the Keighley defenders. They got up there right in his face and the ball has gone to ground. And suddenly Keighley come away with it again. And here's a chance for Finnegan on this right-hand side, who just thought about taking on Kay, but has to take the tackle.
Finnegan did think about taking Kay on, but he'd shown him the sideline with a view to go on, Vinny, have a go at the sideline, with Liam Kay maybe trying to get him out on the sideline.
It's a stout effort by Dixon. Little high on Law. Milner back to Beharrell. Now they move it. Oh, and a good, strong centre play by Adam Ryder, who rode that tackle and gets his side. Couple of strides inside the Toronto half. They've got a bit of momentum here now, Keighley, down this hill. Ryder again is involved.
He probably didn't want that ball in the second after his big carry before, but this is better from Keighley. Bit more expansive, offloads going to hand, testing the shape of the Wolfpack defence again here.
Richie Hawkyard chiming in. Little step by Lynham. Lynham with a ball back, and Matty Beharrell will scamper underneath the sticks despite the best efforts of Liam Kay. Beharrell, a try scorer, breathing life back into this game. Keighley's fight ain't over yet.
Absolutely not. Brilliant play from Keighley. Beharrell, the finisher off in the general there, and create the opportunity on the right side for Milner and Biharul, and out the back, and Hawkyard finds the break, which is Lynham again. Biharul, like all good halves, backing up on the inside. Craig exploiting the space that they created on the outside. Sidestep Richard Whiting, goes in to stop the play, and in and out off his left foot, and Richard Whiting won't want to see that again. And Biharul, like all good halves, underneath the sticks. Game on.
Kick's gone over from Biharul. 21 points to 30. Let's find out that news then about QLT. We'll go to Aaron Murphy. Aaron, what is the news on QLT?
QLT's gone off for a concussion protocol, guys. It looked like the left side of his face took most of the brunt. His left eye looked like it was already closing, but he took a knock from behind there. I think Bezic was coming over the top, and he was sandwiched down onto the ground. So concussion protocol, doesn't look like he'll be back with time running down in this one.
Yeah, they've got 15 minutes, haven't they, from the time he goes off to check if he is fit enough to come back. There's the catch by Milner. Now, can Keighley force something of a comeback here, or can Toronto hang on? Well, Keighley have dropped the ball. I think it's Law.
We saw that in the first half, didn't we? You know, where we saw Milner drop one, and then one from a player one, and Coach Lingard would pull it. If he had hair, he'd be pulling it out, but he hasn't, so he'll be scratching his head on that one, because they get back in the game, they get the great play, and then they can beat themselves with an uppercut.
10 minutes left to play. That's not beyond the realms of possibility. Keighley need just 2 scores, but Toronto looking to work the advantage again here. Another try for them, might just see it through. Hall dancing away, but still getting a good pass away, and Pownall has already pouched 3 tries today. Bezic, driven hard by Everett, Toby Everett. Bezic again. It's with Wallace. Bezic's got numbers to his left-hand side, plenty of numbers. Dixon, Powder, where's he come from? Johnny Pownall, right winger, suddenly in the left centre's position.
Yeah, Whiting had to bail out there because they claimed on the Keighley fans that it caused a bit of an obstruction. That's why it looked a bit clumsy.
Emmett just forcing his way closer to that Keighley line again. 1 play to go here. Wallace, oh, and Dixon, high.
Was high, wasn't it?
And it is a penalty.
You can't hit him around the head. What's he giving there? He's giving a turnover.
Wow. Looks as though he gave him the penalty. Well, Keighley ain't complaining.
Nope.
No, tap it and get on with it. Play the ball, get on with it. By the way, put your mind to man of the match here, Brian, because you, as ever, on these occasions are adjudicating who our man of the match is today. I suspect I might have a bit of a clue as to who you might be going for, but prejudicing your decision. Little run out of dummy half by Feather here. Biharul puts it back. Oh, mistake. Mistake by Lynham.
That's just the pressure of the line that came forward. I think Sidlow and Emmett have been massive for the Wolfpack coming off and playing long minutes as well. Pownall and Kerr, brilliant as they always are, they seem to be. Hall with his little touches of magic. They played well today, but then you look at the Keighley team and you have to say that both wingers have looked in dangers. Gabriel and Finnegan and Hawkyard chiming into the line. I think Milner and Biharul have been excellent, but they can't have done that without the efforts of Scott Law and Lynham and all their big blokes in the middle.
Wallace just asking why he's not allowed to feed the ball into the scrum. I think the answer is provided when he looks at the Keighley players. Then none of them are packed down. Oh, well, here we go. Bezic. I don't think he knew where he was going there. Where am I? Oh, yeah, Keighley. Let's have a go. And a little jog forward. And Emmett, a dummy half. And here comes Laithwaite tearing a hole in that Keighley defence.
From Hawkyard, wasn't it? Great break from Laithwaite, and that should be a penalty, but the referee's lost his pee from his whistle.
Dixon. 10 away. Bezic decides to come left, bumps into the Keighley player, hoping that maybe there's a penalty in that, but it's not. So he has to take the tackle, and Sidlow sizing up at dummy half. How long left to play? Oh, and here comes Sidlow, who's unstoppable.
For a score.
Unstoppable.
I think he's been good today, Sidlow. He dropped one right at the start of the game, remember, when he was over the line. He wasn't going to drop that one. That's probably the biggest dummy half runner I've ever seen. He's a big unit and takes the pressure out of this game for the Wolfpack, and he knows, he's made his mind up now, Dave. He says, I'm 20 on, I'm going. I mean, you stop me if you can this close. I'm a big little dummy and can't quite get there, and he can. Wasn't going to be stopped, was he?
Absolutely not. Little feint to his right, but
there's no doubt he put the ball down, was there?
No, absolutely not. So Toronto are going to win again here today. It's going to be competitive win number 5. They're 3rd in the league. They put some points through the London Scholars, but they were tested by Whitehaven, and they have been tested again here by Keighley, but it is still going to be a relatively comfortable scoreline at the end of the day, you'd think, at 36-21.
Well, let's be honest, it is a priced scalp. So wherever the Wolfpack go, whoever they play, they're going to have to aim up, and that's the challenge of the season.
Doncaster in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
My word.
It's going to be good. That's going to be good.
That's
not on 10
metres.
metres. That's bouncing back, so it's a penalty for Toronto on the halfway line.
Well, it's the first one that hasn't gone for them, isn't it? So it's understandable, the kick there from Baharrel.
Referee's knocked on. Maurice Jacks puts it out of play on this near side, so the tap restart here for Toronto. How long left to play? 5 minutes left to play. Emmett. Here's Bezic. Now it's Sidlow again. Bezic.
He's been great today, Sidlow and Emmett, and Bezic off.
Oh, Bezic with a pass away. Lovely stuff, and Andrew Dixon is the man who finishes this time. And they are putting the knife through these Keighley hopes now in the late stages. The class is beginning to show, and they hit the 40 points mark.
That's down to Bob Bezic, who snipes and sniffs around the dummy half area. Sidlow again with a win, a quick play of the ball. Bezic, great footwork by Andrew Dixon, pushing in the back row. Knows what Bob Bezic is going to do, and great play from Bezic and a good score from Dixon.
Conversion from the right of the sticks here, from the left of the sticks, I should say, for Hall. Hall. Conversion is good. 21-42 the scoreline, and there'll be some relief from Toronto at that scoreline, given where they were right at the start of the second half. Brad Nicholson's try for Keighley, literally from the kickoff, helping them to a 15-8 lead at that stage. There's another restart that might not go 10. Oh, it's just gone 10. Not backwards by Sidlow. The restarts have been excellent today from Keighley on the whole.
First class. Good carry from Everett there. Toby Everett.
And how much did Toronto get out of this? That's a loose ball, scummed down Keighley's head and feet, getting a little scrappy towards the end. But how much did Toronto get out of this now, given that they've had to come back from that position they found themselves?
They've been asked another big question at half-time. Bearing in mind this Keighley outfit, low playing down the hill. This is their whole raison d'etre. They'll get they had themselves a 1-point lead at half-time, remember, so clearly there were questions, and you have to say they've answered it with aplomb, the Wolfpack, and but that doesn't mean to say it hasn't been a tough fixture, and they're going to experience periods of games that are clearly difficult, and they've got over that difficult time again.
Oh, that's good play by Ryder again, and suddenly Gabriel's got a chance to run down that left-hand side, but he's stopped. And your man of the match today, Brian?
Well, I think there's been some outstanding contributions from the Wolfpack. I think Sidlow and Jake Emmett again has absolutely shown their worth. But the wingers again, you know, Pownall and Kay have been outstanding with chiming in at the back with their centres. But I'm going to give it to a Keighley player. I think he's organised. I think he's been on the back. He's putting out some superb kicks and some superb kickoffs. So for me, even in a beaten side here, we're seeing here the prowess of Matiba. And if Gabriel collects that, he scores again. So my man of the match, even in a beaten team, goes to Matiba Herald.
That was almost perfect timing, wasn't it? If they'd scored from that, that would have been brilliant. But his kick not quite held on to. Matiba Herald, the man of the match. Just 90 seconds left to play. Toronto in the ascendancy. Emmett. 34 points they've scored in this second half to ride that challenge that Keighley have given them here today, to see them home and maintain that unbeaten record. Emmett again. Sidlow back to Wallace, and now Dixon. Quick play the ball, picked up by Wallace. Inside it goes. Sidlow. Well, we know he's unstoppable from that range because he's proven it once before. And just in case we had any doubts, he's proven it again. Sidlow crashing over. 46 now for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and that's just too big, too strong and too fast. The spirit's not gone from this Keighley team, but because they've made better decisions in this second half, the Wolfpack, I mean, it's been the big prowess of people like Sidlow and Emmett and even Whiting when he comes in and around the middle, and they're just too fast. To play the ball's too quick. Wallace snipes out a dummy half and Sidlow won't be stopped from there.
So the former Widnes, Salford and Bradford man, 3-4 years at Bradford, of course. Those would have been tough years. We mentioned it before. It would have been tough years, those last few years at Bradford, with all the uncertainty that surrounded that club. Here comes Hall to add another 2, and 21-48 will be the full-time score. The hooter sounds in the background to bring the curtain down on a sunny day on what has been ultimately an excellent Toronto performance to see them home by such a margin. But let's not take anything away from that Keighley performance of the first half and the effort they put in here for well over 40 minutes.
Well, full praise to the Wolfpack. They made better decisions in the second half, understood the nature of the challenge because Keighley had aimed up in the first. Keighley couldn't replicate their performance of the first half, which will disappoint Craig Lingard. So the cream came to the top in essence on the back of some good decisions from the team in black, but Keighley would take a lot of credit away with that. They just fell away at the end there in relation to the scoreline, and they'll be disappointed because they made some decisions in the second half that made the game more difficult for them. And when you're playing a quality outfit with the quality team that the Wolfpack are, you can't do that.
Well, they trailed 15-8 just into the second half, but they've won 48 points to 21. The Toronto Wolfpack keep their unbeaten start to their careers alive. Craig Lingard, the Keighley coach, looks on, and they get some great support from those Keighley supporters, but it is Toronto who stay very much top of the tree, having won here today by 48 points to 21. We're back for a bit of analysis and some interviews after this break.